Hi, welcome to the channel. Today's video is one that I've been looking forward to for months. It's a collaboration with Adam Bornn from Parallel Wealth. Number of years ago, Kent, my business partner at K4 Financial, was the pioneer for financial planners in Canada on YouTube. Some might even call him the OG. And in the last number of years, Kent helped Adam get his channel started, and Adam has grown a beautiful business helping thousands of Canadians. And it was time for me to start my channel, and Adam and I were doing this collaboration, and he'll be doing a twin video on his channel as well to help grow us both. If you have somehow found this video and don't know who Adam is, he's at about 99,500 subscribers right now. So pause this, open a new tab, go and subscribe to his channel, help him hit that milestone of 100,000. If he has hit it by now, I want to just say congrats to Adam. It's an absolute impressive milestone that I hope to achieve one day. I only have about 99,500 subscribers to go, so a bit of a journey ahead of me. Anyways, today's video, we're talking about the psychology of transitioning into retirement. Adam and I both have over a decade of experience in this industry. We've helped hundreds of clients into retirement, and the psychological part is a very big part of it. So that's what we're talking about in this video. The video to our twin video on his channel will be linked in the description below, along with Adam's channel. Hope you enjoy this one. Let's get it started. All right, Adam, thank you again so much for being on the channel. I really appreciate it. This video, we're going to explore a lot of the psychological side of retirement planning, because I say this all the time to people, it's more than dollars and cents. There's more to a financial plan than how much you have in CPP, because everyone that we meet with, and it'll be the same for Adam, everyone we meet with is a real human with real concerns and hobbies and identities that are formed through their work and their family and things like that. And there's so much more to it than dollars and cents. And so what we'll cover in this is just transition into retirement psychologically, things like that, what we see in the first couple of years, what we've seen in successful client transition, stuff like that. So I'll jump into it. We're just going to kind of go back and forth here. So I'll start with just transitioning or anticipating the transition into retirement. So Adam, maybe do you want to start with this and just talking about those last couple of years of work before retirement sets in? What should people be looking at? What are we looking at with our clients?
Yeah, definitely. I like to use the term, and we talked about it before we hit record here, but kind of transitioning to something. So that transition into retirement, I really encourage people to find something that they want to retire to. And that doesn't mean I don't have something to retire to, so I'm going to hold off on retirement. It's just as you kind of gear up the last 1, 2, 3 years before you want to pull the trigger, make sure that you understand, what am I going to do on the other side? And, I've had family members, I'm sure you have too, where it's like they retire to nothing. You can see their health start to deteriorate, and it just doesn't go well. Whereas people that actually retire to something, that something could be, a vocational thing. We had a client actually just the other day, they retired to, kind of a swim aerobic thing. So she's going to be an instructor for that. So again,
Awesome.
Everyone kind of has a different thing, but definitely the transition to retirement needs to be, I'm retiring to something. And that's a big piece of it. So if you're watching this video, you're like, I don't really have that something. What could that be? Walk through it. If you're married, Kamala, have someone in your life, talk them through. Again, nice to have something that you can do with someone. I'm always trying to get my wife into golf so that I can retire to golf. So she'll be part of that too. But, again, having a plan, knowing that a lot of you do find a lot of fulfillment, and, you go to work 40 hours a day, add in the commute to that. It's a lot of time in a week. So how are you filling that? Make sure you have something in line for that.
Yeah. And part of that, I really try to recommend finding schedule, daily routines and things like that. Because again, you're so used to routine. It's a big transition. It's not the misconception that you and I have talked about before is that it's just, I'm on vacation for the next 30 years. It's not that for most that are successful. And I recently brought in some clients who work is really getting in the way of their hobbies. And I remember thinking like, man, these people have retirement like ready to go because they golf and snowshoe and all these other things. And I'm jealous of how many different hobbies that people like that have. And again, like you said, like you don't have to like feel bad that you don't have a hobby, but yeah, try to find something that you're excited about in retirement, more time to do X. And if you haven't yet, try pickleball. I just started playing pickleball like 3 or 4 months
There
ago. It's fantastic. And all the communities that, let's face it, I've intruded on because most people are retired that are playing pickleball. Those communities are tight. It's awesome. You'll find something close by. It's pretty great.
Well, no, something like that hits kind of two birds with one stone too, in that you're staying active, you're moving the body, which you need to continue to do
Yep.
as you get older, and then it gives you that social aspect of as well. So
Yeah, totally.
yeah,
Let's talk about psychological challenges because there's a lot of them, right? Some people have said to me, Chad, like, where's my value coming from as a human? Like how is this affecting my self-worth? I'm transitioning out of being a big player at a company, or maybe I own my own company or whatever it is, to I'm just another retired guy. Like, how does someone address something like that in your experience?
yeah, I think a lot of people, like some people know, hey, I get a lot of my fill from work, and leaving that's going to be an adjustment. I need to work through that. I think the other part of it is a lot of people don't realize how much fulfillment and joy they get through maybe not their job, but the people around them at their
Yeah,
job, or at least like accomplishing something on a daily basis. So I think that's a big part of it. So understand like, what kind of fills you up? Like what fills your cup? Is it work? And if it's not work, what is it? Like something, we all have something that fills our cup. So make sure that you understand like if it's work, now you're leaving that, that's a big shift. So again, you want to retire to something, but you also have to understand like the psychological. And I always say, retirement planning and transitioning into retirement, 10% financial is 90% psychological, especially those first few years. So you really have to understand like, you don't want to go into a depressive state because
right.
you're not going to work anymore, right? And that's why some people we recommend maybe go part-time, like kind of a slow, it's not cold
Yeah.
turkey, it's a slower transition out of it. Or maybe it's volunteering. Maybe you have a skill set where you can like you're retired, but now you're volunteering. So you're still kind of getting that fill, but it's in a different manner.
Yeah. I have this analogy I'm going to start talking more about on the channel, what I've started talking about with clients, where there's kind of three levels of financial independence. There's the stage where you make enough money to that you're investing comfortably. There's the stage that you have enough to retire, but at a future date. And then there's full-blown financial independence. And when you talk about you're encouraging clients to maybe cut back hours, when I can convince someone and they agree that they are full-blown financially independent, from what I'm told, because I haven't experienced this personally yet, work also changes, right? If you know you don't need to be at work and the boss comes in and gives you some ridiculous timeline or something like that, it's
Yeah.
a different ball game. And it's a big psychological shift. I look forward to that day. I'm not there yet. And when it comes to the financial anxiety, I agree. It's 10, 15, 20% of the equation. It's an important part, and that's obviously what we do for a living. And there's a lot of different parts of it. And you did that video where you mentioned retiring into something where you really highlighted like make sure you know what it is that you'll be spending and things like that and how you're spending it. And one of the ways that I do that is I always approach retirement income planning as let's build your retirement income house. And so that's why people like Adam, people like Chad and Kent, we exist because we want to help you get a good understanding of where your money's coming from, which income sources are the most secure to kind of help alleviate that financial anxiety. Again, to like we've been talking about a few clients lately. I met with one this morning where we've realized through the conversation that probably at least 80% of their spending will come from foundational income sources, pensions, CPP, OAS, and things like that. I'm like, man, oh man, the anxiety level, you could see shoulders just dropping when we started to realize that. So that's a
Yeah.
really real part of it. What do you see when you're talking to people about the financial side of anxiety?
Yeah, I think a big part of it too is to get a plan or have a good understanding a few years before you retire. Like, I hate doing plans for people and it's like, could have retired 2 years ago. And they're like, yeah, I don't want to hear that. Right. So, that's
Yeah.
part of it too. Like as you're getting closer to retirement, like sit down with your financial planner. If you don't have one, reach out to someone like Chad or myself to get a plan in place. Like hire someone that kind of lines up with what you're looking to do. Ideally, like I like the 5 to 10 years, like have a bit of a runway because you don't want to work longer than you have to. As far as like strategies to help you walk into retirement, because it is challenging. Like, and a lot of you kind of like it hits your heart. And a lot of companies now are offering like a transitional phase. So it might be a year or two. I had a call with the lady this morning. She just started a 2.5 year part-time transitional phase. So she was full-time. She's now part-time for 2.5 years. And at 60, she'll fully retire. So it's, a lot of companies will help you transition out. It keeps you around because you obviously have some talent in your company, hopefully. Allows them to bring in a new person. It's a smoother transition for the company too. So a lot of companies are open to that. So I'd encourage you to try and find a bit of a transition into versus like both feet in at the same time. It typically works a bit better that way.
Yeah, I could not agree more.
Yeah.
The adjustment period. So I agree with you as well. Having a retirement planner with a little bit of runway, 5, 10 years in advance is a really good idea. That first year, that adjustment is so big, right? Before retirement, the psychological, I go do work, work give me money is
Yeah.
so understood, and it's so different transitioning into that where that's not the case. And then I find, and maybe you'll echo this, maybe you won't. I find that the first year in particular is almost not always, but in a lot of cases, it's like this weird anomaly year where clients are saying, "Oh yeah, I spend $5,000 a month or something like that before retirement." And then that first year they do almost double or they do half, or it could
I
go
have
either
no idea.
way.
Yeah.
And I find that the first year in particular really gets thrown out of the big picture, and it takes a year or two, maybe three in some cases, to really kind of balance out and find your groove.
Mhm.
Do you see that as well?
We do, and a big piece of that too is for most people, they're going from one income source. They show up to work, they get a paycheck, work takes off the amount of tax properly. Like it's very clean and simple. When you hit retirement, I always say like retirement gives everyone, no matter your situation, a lot of tax planning advantages, but it also brings a bit of mess to it all because you could have a RIF and a LIF and a TFSA, a non-reg and CPP and OAS. So like an individual could have five, six, seven, eight income sources. And then if you're married or common law, you double that. So some withhold tax, some don't, some taxable, some not. So I do find a lot the transitions not only like how much am I spending, but then like how much cash is coming in, how much withholding tax, come tax time do I owe money? So it's just a different world in retirement. And that's where
Yeah.
kind of the value of a planner having a bit of a cash flow plan, knowing like, okay, I know where my money's coming from. I know at tax time if I owe money or not. And if I owe money, that's fine, as long as I know there's been some tax planning done and
Yeah.
I know how big that bill will be, right? So definitely the first couple of years, we tell everyone, the first couple of years of retirement, like it's kind of some moving parts. It takes a bit to get used to because it is very different for everybody.
Yeah.
Unless you're a business owner where maybe you structure stuff so it doesn't change a whole lot, but for most people, those first 2 years are very different on their end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've started encouraging a few people as well to start like trying it on. And what I mean by that, or like test drive is maybe a better analogy, but for younger clients that are saving up for a house, for example, I say like try on the mortgage, like get used to what the mortgage payment is. And if you can't make that work in your budget, don't buy the house.
Exactly.
And so the same type of thing in retirement. And like I have clients who are like, "Oh, I'm not sure if we're ready to move into like a condo or a retirement home from our house." I'm like, "Okay, pretend half your house doesn't exist and live there. Like just start trying it on." And for retirement, maybe it's okay, let's aim at 5,000 a month. Let's start sticking to that maybe 6 to 8 months in advance. And you may realize you're not ready. You may realize that's not enough. You may realize that it's too much or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Try some things on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's no reason not to take a test run. I told my wife
Yeah.
I'm trying to take a test run now, going to like Hawaii, Mexico every year. So we're gonna start training early.
That sounds good. We
See
just
if it
booked a little
works.
vacation as
Yeah.
well. Nice. All
Yeah.
right, let's just do a quick summary here. Some strategies for a smoother transition here. Plan is number one. Whether you come to Adam or us at K4, start planning, start thinking about what it is that what you're looking for. From there, start looking at your identity in retirement. Maybe Adam, why don't you talk about that one a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. Like I talked about earlier, like have something to retire to. So have a hobby, some volunteering, if it's part-time work, whatever it is. It will be a new identity for you. A lot of us get our identity through work, what we do, 9 to 5, 5 days a week. That shifts. So what is that new identity?
Yeah, agreed. Establish some new routines. Find what's going to get you up in the morning. Figure it out. Get some normalcy in your life, things like that.
Mhm.
And then maybe you can hit on
Yes.
social a little bit.
Yeah, social engagement. So a lot of us, again, our social circle is work for a lot of us,
Mhm.
fortunately or unfortunately. And a lot of us don't have social circles outside of work. So if you're not showing up to work anymore, where's your social circle? So again, might be, part of your hobby. Maybe you need to join a local club, the gym, whatever it is. But find a way to make sure you have people around you that you can talk to that are also in a similar situation and life stage that you're at.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool, Adam. Thanks for being on the channel. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.